Hi guys, welcome back to All Things Dani. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Thank you so much for coming back. I know it has been a while since y'all last heard from me directly. I know I was on my way to California and so much has transpired since then. I left California in April. So stay tuned for everything that happened since the time I last spoke to you. So I made it to California. Probably was around 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I get to my furnished finder room and less than desired. I kept running into the price hike. So the room that I got was listed at $800. But she mentioned that she would have a room available that would be $1,000, but this particular room was listed on the website for $800. Well, I get there and she wants $1,000. The bed was like hard, which, you know, you could overcome having a hard bed by getting a mattress topper. So there wasn't as much of an issue beside the fact that the curtain, like there was a window on the balcony, or a door for the balcony, and yeah, you can see right through it, which is connected to another room. I just didn't feel comfortable in that environment. Also, I noticed that she would have a lot of complaints, which was understandable, but she had a lot of complaints for the other roomies, which I think was like 3 other girls there. And so like she paid someone to come through and clean, and like literally the next day she was complaining that they had left food in the kitchen, the stove wasn't clean, they didn't wash their dishes. And so I just knew for 3 months I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want the issue to be on me, and I didn't want to deal with it either. So yeah, I ended up leaving and I went to a hotel, and I was paying like $150 a night for a hotel, and you know, that was kind of expensive. But I was in the Anaheim area. And so I guess what I didn't realize that I didn't do my research on is that it's an expensive area of California because they're right there by the Disney park. So I went to a hotel. I stayed there for most of the time, to be honest with you. I stayed in the hotel for probably about a week. And then I went to an Airbnb. It was really nice. The lady, I forgot her name, but she's on there. But she was really nice. I would recommend staying with her. She wasn't there, but her sister was. But they was very nice and accommodating. It was quiet. You know, I'm a night shift nurse. So having peace and quiet in the daytime was something that I really appreciated. So I stayed there only for a couple of days because I ended up getting another room through Furnished Finder. Okay. The room through Furnished Finder was listed at, I think it was either $950 or $1,000, right? Okay, I get there, she wants $1,300. I'm like, what is the deal with Furnished Finder? What is the deal with Furnished Finder having their prices? And they always say, oh, I haven't updated. However, you can look on the website and it shows that it was updated and that it's up to date to a certain days. So I don't know if once they realized I was a nurse that they decided to up the price. But the first house, she was a nurse too. So I don't know what's the deal with that. As far as the new place, I went ahead and I booked the new Furnished Finder for a month. This Furnished Finder was actually set up like a hotel. So they had like A, B, C, D, E, F, G rooms. So however many rooms that is, A, B, C, D, E, F. So maybe like 6 rooms or whatever. It was a huge house that they like converted the living room into a bedroom. And that's what I think I had. So the room that I had, again, was listed for like $1,000, but she charged me $1,300. It was big, spacious, nice. I had a bed, a little miniature refrigerator, had a couch, a table. And then, of course, you have to go out in the kitchen and cook. So I cooked as well. I made one meal there. But, you know, you had other couples there or other family members there. So this one particular, I think they were Indian. Like, he was in town working from IT department. Yeah, she cooked every day. And again, I'm a night nurse. So what I find being in that furnace finder was really frustrating is that she would cook at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So you just, like, I would be woken up out of my sleep to pots and pans banging. And the problem with that is her husband didn't get home till 7 o'clock. So she would go and cook, and then when he come in, probably around, because I would leave out probably about 6:15, 6:20, she would be in there cooking again. But she'll start out cooking, and then she'll come and she would cook. But when my family came down, my daughter ended up staying. They were there for a week. And yeah, we drove to San Francisco. I have pictures and video. I'll probably insert over there. I have pictures and video of San Francisco. We went down like the steep hill. Good morning, everyone. I am in San Francisco. My family came here to see me, and we are on Crooked Street. Now, I'm not brave enough to make that. So I'm going to just take you with me. So they decided to drive it. And I don't know if you can see, but my son is like hanging out the window. This is steep, just walking. Good grief. So the sign says to drive 5 miles per hour, and he's clearly not driving 5 miles per hour. But good grief. So I am walking. So just a little background about everything. It's been a while. My family came in to see me on Wednesday. Yeah, they came to see me on Wednesday. I picked them up from the airport. Okay. So anyway, now they are here. So we stayed at the Air Hotel Orange, which is super nice, by the way, if you're ever in California. Okay. And so now we are, we decided to get up and come to San Francisco because he wanted to come. He never, wanted to see the bridge and all. Okay, first thing first. When you come across the bridge, it doesn't matter if it's the Golden Gate Bridge or the other. There's no way out of this fee. I guess unless you go way, way, way across town, then there's a way. But there's no way across. There's no way. They charge you $7 for just to cross. So we thought, okay, well, we'll just come in on this one side at the Golden Gate Bridge. It was free to cross. No, they're gonna send me a bill in the mail for like $7.50 or something like that. Okay, so then we get here, San Francisco. Like, to my surprise, okay, so we end up in Chinatown, but like literally there's nowhere to park. Every hotel is charging like $60 just to park, $65 to park. And I'm like, I don't want to pay $65. So I found a Marriott, the Marriott over there on the side. My kids go in to get some food from the restaurant, Taco Bell. They saw crack. They're just smoking crack. I'm just walking in. Yeah, they just smoking crack out on the street and stuff. So it's kind of like, what? So I'm like, needless to say, we did not stay there. We ended up coming back to Chinatown and parked on the side of the road on the meter.
Look at that. Can't say that in your new building. That blue.
Okay.
Tour buses beat through here.
It's at 8, no more than 8. So then they're selling crack and smoking crack right on the street. Like, I'm like, we're not staying here. Like, so we can't make the Chinatown. And then, we're watching the news and they're closing down schools because of the coronavirus. They're closing down the schools. They're closing down schools. They are, everything's shut down. Facebook says stay at home, work from home. So many different companies are telling employees not to come to work. A teacher was, had the coronavirus, was tested positive for the coronavirus. A student was tested positive for the coronavirus. So they're closed down until sometime next week to do deep cleaning. Like, it's just everywhere. So he wanted to bike across the Golden Gate Bridge, but he said no, he's not gonna do that anymore because he didn't want to be out there breathing in that air. So the hotel, it was like, I thought when they said 2 full beds, like they meant like full-size beds, like, and it's literally full-size beds. But you like, I've seen some where, you know, they have like a bed and a couch bed and stuff like that, but no, they literally meant 2 full-size beds. But San Francisco, it's, no, y'all can have it. Y'all can have it all.
I like it.
Yeah, no.
I like it.
No, y'all can have it. And okay, so they're trying to send me here for an assignment.
I don't want to work here or nothing like that.
No.
But I do think it's a place for a
You know what?
like
I'll
they
probably,
said.
I mean,
really
you
do.
know, they get paid good money working here, but I see why. Everybody's on top of everybody. Okay. I've never been to New York, not yet. Maybe I'll make it in June of this year, or May of this year. But yeah, no. So that was Crooked Street. I walked it. I didn't want to drive it. It is what it is. The roads are too steep. And I don't know if I was ever even trying to work here. If I have to come down a steep road, I just won't make it to work. So I'm not going to set myself up for that. Okay. We were supposed to go to Alcatraz. But now they don't want to go anymore. So much for that. But I don't care much. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get out of here. We just walked around. Unbeknownst to me, it was COVID season. So between there and working in the hospital somewhere, eventually I picked up a book. So my family was with me for probably about a week. It was exactly a week because we had to push their date back to make it 7 days because the airline flight kept rebooking them. Anyway, so we ended up, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so we ended up staying at the hotel during the time that they were there. And we went out to Oakland, all this. We actually went to church. We went to Noel Jones Church. I know Noel Jones when he came to Dallas, and of course everybody's seen him on TV. But Noel didn't speak. You had Bishop McClendon, and he was there doing $70 lines. You can pay $70, and God's going to protect you from COVID, which little did I know, I didn't add my $70. So needless to say, I got sick. I started feeling ill the day, I started feeling like just super tired and just tired, fatigued. The day that my family left, I was really fatigued. But I had to work not the next day, but on that Friday. They left on a Wednesday. I worked on a Friday. I went to work. But that day when I woke up Friday morning, I woke up and I had diarrhea. I felt nauseous. I was vomiting. But I said, I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to go to work because I actually enjoyed going to work. I didn't feel a drag on going to work or anything. So, I ended up going to work. I got off. When I got off, I just felt weird while I worked overnight. I felt just excessively tired. Well, when I got to my room, I ended up checking my temperature, and I had a temp of 101. So yeah, of course I take medication. I pick up some medication, get some vitamin C, and trying to make myself feel better, I went to the room, I went to sleep. Well, the room had ants. So, you know, my daughter didn't want to stay in the ants, which I don't blame her. I don't want to be in ants either. And I think it was more the rain. And when I talked to the owner of the home, she, you know, tried to say, oh, you can't have food. But it wasn't food that was the issue, because the ants were on the other side. I think it was the Indian couple that was next to me, or that was behind me, if anything. But, you know, between them and the rain, you know, I had ants. So we packed up and went to a hotel room that night. And when I woke up or whatever to go to work for the night, which was Saturday, I believe, when I woke up and went to work, I had a cough. And the problem was I couldn't stop vomiting. So I was vomiting and I was coughing, and the CEO, this is when COVID was like, okay, we have a crisis, we have a problem, we have to test. So when I reported that I'm having symptoms with the cough, the nausea, the vomiting, the fever, diarrhea, like, I went to work, and the CNO, he didn't want to let me through, but they was like, oh no, we need you on the floor, so you need to come in anyway. So I go in, they check my temperature was down, but I still had to cough real bad, and I just kept vomiting. But they want me to work, so hey, I'm willing to work. I came here to work. I didn't want my pay doc, because if they dock your pay, yeah, one day I think it was like $1,000 I would have missed in stipends and my money, and I didn't want to dock my pay $1,000. Like, I came there to get my coins, and I wanted my coins. So when I got to my unit, I went to clock in, and I went to the nurse's station to get my assignment, and I wasn't on the list. They was like, hey, check in at the other end. So I go to the other end, and nope, no list. They was like, oh, well, we heard you called in. I'm like, no, I did not call in. I would not call in. I will be here. I can put a mask on. I can go in the corner, because the night before I was in a corner. And I stayed in the corner because I wasn't feeling well. But we had the nurse the next morning. I was supposed to give a report to a nurse. And she was supposed to be there, you know, 6:45, 7 o'clock. Well, 7:30 rolls, she's not around. And, you know, of course, I don't know who I'm looking for. And then she walked past me, but she's like, oh, I'll be right back, okay? So I'm sitting in the corner, because I know I don't feel well. I don't want to have my back on anyone. I go to the nurse's station. I finished my last little charting on the patient. I forgot he had removed his IV or whatever. And it's 8 o'clock. She walks up and say, hey, like, okay. So I'm literally logging out of my charting, because all I had to do was remove an IV. I'm logging out. This girl makes a about face and says, can you come on? Because I've been waiting for you since like 7 o'clock. I said, girl, no, you wasn't. I said, I've been waiting for you. It's 8 o'clock. And like, you're just now walking up to this nurse's station. I saw you 30, 40 minutes ago. You never came back. And so like, we're literally like going back and forth. And I'm saying like, you're not going to sit here and raise your voice at me, because you're going to respect me like I respect you. I've given patients enough to wait till 8 o'clock after I worked a long night shift. My report should have been done by 7:30, I would assume. You know, I give report. And so, you know, like, it was just really frustrating. So we're walking into the patient's room, and I'm sitting here like, we're going back and forth. I said, I'm not going to go back and forth with you in this patient's room. I'm not going to do it. At the end of the day, I've been waiting for you. I'm ready to go. I'm tired. I don't feel well. Let's get it on. So, yeah, I gave her an ED report. How about that? Let's put that the nice way. I gave her an ED report. Like, no. Anyways, so, needless to say, the next day I come in, they don't want to let me through. They were trying to say that I called out. I'm like, nope, didn't call out. I'm here. And they was like, oh, well, we took you off the schedule. And they was like, oh, maybe you have a funky GI issue. But no, it wasn't GI. I went home overnight, because I can feel when I'm having a fever. Like, I would begin to sweat, and then my heart would race a little bit. And then when I check, I had a fever. So now they tell me to call the health department. So now I have to call California's health department, Orange County. Like, why? They were absolutely no help. The health department didn't know anything. They put it off on the I called the CDC and the health department for California, and I got absolutely nowhere. They told me, oh, call it urgent care. Well, see, I'm not from California. Urgent care was like, oh, we don't have any tests, because the hospital wanted me to get tested to see if I was positive. So I'm trying to do my due diligence and call, and they was like, call the urgent care. So I called urgent care. Nope. We don't have any testing. Call the ER. The emergency rooms wasn't giving you a test unless you were a patient. Now, this disclaimer, always get insurance. I don't normally get sick, so I didn't get health insurance. I opted out of getting the health insurance on a travel or something because I don't normally get sick. Well, I got sick, and I couldn't get any help. The clinic was like, oh, well, you have to get your PCP to send a referral. I'm like, I don't have a PCP. I'm not from here. I don't have a PCP. They was like, okay, well, it's okay. We can figure it out. But nope, never did. So I'm calling my company, of course. And my company's like, don't worry about it. You'll be quarantined for a couple of weeks. And then from there, like, we'll take care of you. I said, okay, like, if y'all need to pause my contract, because, of course, the hospital asked me, will I pause my contract? I'm like, yeah, I will pause my contract. Let me get well or whatever, and then I'll start back up. That way, they're not paying me for 2 weeks of quarantine, and I'm not, and in essence, I'm not working those 2 weeks. And my company was like, no, don't do that. Like, it's covered under COVID, so you'll be okay. Well, the 2 weeks go by. I'm still not feeling better. Like, I felt worse. Like, I almost felt like I was going to die because I felt like I was suffocating. I was suffocating, like I could not catch my breath. Some days I'd be like 100, 101, almost 102, like 100.8. I mean, 101.8. And then there were times when my O2 would be like in the 50s. And it went on like over a minute or 2 minutes, 3 minutes of just hanging out in the 50s. And it's like, I felt it. Like, I knew when to check because I felt it. But yeah, I just didn't get better. So then like after my 2-week quarantine, it was like, hey, are you think you're gonna be able to make it back? Like, I'm still not feeling well. I still have some off and on fever. Like, I could barely walk to the restroom. Like, seriously, I was suffocating. That's how I felt. It was really scary for me. And then I had my daughter with me, and she was scared. So I called her dad or whatever. And like on week 3, so I go into week 3, and of course, like, now they want me like, oh, what's wrong? So I was told to call the health department again. I called the health department, and they was like, well, you need to continue the quarantine because we don't know what you have. The COVID normally lasts about 2 weeks, and then after 2 weeks, then you might have something else. I'm like, I don't know. I just know I don't feel well. I feel like I had pneumonia. But needless to say, they canceled my contract. I get word that they're going to cancel my contract. So in between that 3rd week, I'm like, I don't know what I have. I still was not getting anywhere with testing or been able to make any appointments because I had active symptoms. They wasn't seeing me in urgent care. I did not want to create $3,000 and $4,000 of medical bills going to emergency rooms. So I'm like, the urgent care won't see me. I'm not going to create medical bills for the emergency room, and so I'm stuck. So of course I'm communicating with my family, and they're like, hey, come back. Like, we have testing here in Texas, come back. So I call him and was like, hey, like, I need to come back. Can you meet me? He hops on a plane. I get him from the airport. We drive home. Well, I get here, I know, like sometime in April, mid-April. The week of my cancellation, which was April 24th, they canceled me. So that week prior to, like a few days prior to, I get here, I do my drive-through testing. So good morning. I am leaving the COVID testing site. I still have a fever, and of course I still have a cough. And I did report to them my shortness of breath and my low O2 with feeling dizzy. That thing hurts. They put it in my nose. I accidentally went back. She was like, don't go back. Of course, I tried to hold still, but yeah, it hurts. So I just wait for my result. And so far, I mean, I'm still here. I'm not, I feel yucky, but I'm here. Like, I'm not, gone. Like, I'm trying to, I'm keeping control of it as much as I know how. Even when I feel like I don't have control, like I listen to my heartbeat. I put my stethoscope on and I listen to my heartbeat. I just listen to my heartbeat, and I guess mentally that soothes me because I know that it's still beating. Just whatever it is, I'm gonna climb out of it. It's gonna go away. It's gonna get better, and I get back to being no happy Dani. So thanks for listening, and I'll upload it soon. Wait for my results. Like probably about a week later or 5 days later, I find out like it's negative. But I'm saying, like, I know I'm sick. Like, I know what I feel. Like, I feel really bad. So yeah, no. Then come to find out, they have a high false negative rate. So I still don't know what I have. But I end up going to urgent care here. They diagnosed me with like acute bronchitis. The doctor said he saw like some pneumonia. I end up doing a CT scan. So I'm paying out of pocket probably like $400, $500 I have to pay out of pocket. So moral of the story, get insurance. But anyway, so now, I get sick or whatever. I'm back home. Then they cancel my contract, because I planned on coming here, getting tested, because I couldn't get tested anywhere. I can get tested and go back because leaving California, coming to Texas, you have a 2-week quarantine, but there's no quarantine leaving from Texas going to California. So I wouldn't have had any issues. But my company was like, no, get yourself together. We want you to be well. We don't want you to have to stress out about it. Just get well and everything will be okay. I'm like, okay. Well, needless to say, they canceled my contract, citing low census because no one was going to the hospital. So they definitely had low census. I kept in contact with some coworkers, and like at one point they only had like 9 patients total. So yeah, in California you get 4 for each nurse. So yeah, but I would definitely go back to California. I enjoyed my time in California. The hospital was so much different than Texas. Like, I loved it. Like, seriously. I like that they have break nurses, so I'm guaranteed to get a break. I only have 4 patients max. They were very helpful. It was my first travel assignment, and it was like a very good experience for me. Although I got sick, the overall experience was good. So no complaints there. So what have I been doing since I've been back? So when I came back, of course, I'm trying to get better. I probably was sick probably about a real month. Seriously, probably about a real month I was sick, because even after I came back, I went to the doctor, I got my CT. It still took me probably until almost May before I started to feel better without being winded. I can take a bath without being winded and without feeling like I'm losing my breath. Like, I felt like I needed oxygen 24/7, but I couldn't get any help. So even coming back here, I still couldn't get any help again. And I did record me being sick, and I have a raw video. It's on YouTube, but I haven't published it because it is just raw. Like, I look a mess, I feel a mess, my hair is a mess, I'm laying down because I have no energy, and I'm trying to talk. So I've been debating back and forth if I'm going to put it out as a public, but I'm not sure. I don't get sick, so I don't have insurance. So yeah, that affected me big time. And I had insurance until the Obamacare kicked in, and when they dropped our coverage and upped the price, it's like we never used it. I'm not going to pay $2,500 a month for insurance and then still have a $10,000 deductible. I think it's like 12.5 maybe, or whatever the number is for a family. And it's like, I'm not going to do that. I could just save that money. If I need to go, then pay it. So needless to say, I self-care for myself. I drank lemon, honey, ginger tea. I did the steam using citrus fruit. I cannot say that. I used steam with citrus fruit. And I just tried to rest as much as I could. You know, when they canceled my contract, then at that point, I mean, I wasn't getting paid anymore. They paid me for 2 weeks. The 2 weeks I was out, but I wasn't getting paid, but I had some money saved, so I just, you know, paid my bills with that. Like, I do look forward to traveling more. That one experience, I mean, it was great, you know, until I got sick, but that's a pandemic. You can't control that. I don't like the response in California for getting help. But that was everywhere because nobody wanted to see you if you had COVID. Nobody wanted to see you if you had symptoms. And even now, to this day, if you have fever and symptoms, they're not letting you in. Like, I have been job hunting now that I'm better. Needless to say, I have found a job. It's a matter of what do I accept. Just being honest, I'm not a fan of the hospital. In school, like, I always wanted to do ED. And I never could get into the residency program for ED. And then I had something that happened in my family. And I'm like, okay, let me switch gears from the ED because it would have been traumatic for me. So I did not want to do the ED anymore. Like, that's another video. I would do that in another video. So yeah, look out for that. I'll do that in another video. When I started, I came from vacation, check out my Cribs edition. I came back in January. I was supposed to start at this hospital in Texas. I signed on to do ICU. They only had med-surg application available. I told the manager when she called me, no, I only want to do ICU. I went to apply. They only had this available. She said, no big deal. It happens all the time. And that I won't have any problems. She said she'll call me back when ICU manager is there. Okay. So they called me for an interview. I go in for the interview. The ICU manager was out sick that day. She was out sick. So, no, I did my interview with the director who said she was over the whole floor because it was a small hospital. So they had med-surg ICU together. Actually, they had med-surg ICU, labor and delivery, all on the same floor. And then the other floor, of course, was emergency room and surgery. So she's like, no, it won't be a problem at all. I'm going to, I like you. I want you to start. I'm going to give you your information over to the ICU. I apologize she's not here. But yeah, I'm going to do that. And then I come back from vacation in January and I go to the hospital. And where do they have me? Med-surg. I said, no, sir. I signed up for ICU. I interviewed for ICU. We discussed ICU. They're going to put me on med-surg. No, I'm not doing it. And then their med-surg is 6 patients. 6 to 7 patients. You get a tech if it's 5. But talking to the other worker who had been there for a couple of weeks, you can have 6 patients and no tech. But you can have up to 7 patients. And I'm like, no, but regardless, I didn't sign up for that. I felt like it was a bait and switch. So you know what I did? I went right to HR. I say, sir, this is not what I signed up for. This is not what I interviewed for. And can y'all switch me to ICU? Like, oh, we have a greater need for med-surg. You have to be able to work med-surg as well because you might have to float. I can work med-surg. I don't like med-surg. Truth be told, I barely like the hospital. But neither here nor there. So then I ended up saying, okay, well, how about, he said, the HR was like, okay, well, maybe we can put you in PACU. I have ambulatory PACU experience, but I don't have hospital PACU experience, which is a big difference. And so he was like, reach out to her, I'll let her know, and then we'll go from there. Well, I reached out to her. She called me back. Yeah, she don't mind moving me over. She's going to talk to the director over in MedSurg. MedSurg director blocks it and tell her pretty much no. And I'm like, I'm not staying on MedSurg. She was like, I thought you wanted to be here. I do, in the position I interviewed for, not in the one you switched me to without me knowing. She was like, I needed you before your vacation, but I waited for you to come back. Okay, but they don't give you the right to switch me over to a whole different position that I never agreed to, boo. So yeah, needless to say, chunk the deuces. I'm not staying. I gave them a week to fix it. And I let them know, like, you know. And so the director was like, you know, I don't want to have to fire you. I'm like, you can't fire me if I say I quit. Like, this is not what I signed up for. I'm driving well over an hour away. The pay isn't that great. I'm not going to do that for MedSurg. I can get MedSurg anywhere. Like, I'm not going to do that. And so I ended up resigning. I resigned the position that I didn't agree to, okay? So they was like, oh my gosh, are you sure you want to do that? It can take you 6 months to get another job. I'm like, yeah, well, oh well. So I said, I'll take my chances. It wasn't even 2 weeks later, I was getting a phone call. You want to come to California? Shoot, yeah. I've been trying to get to California. So yeah. Got in my car, packed up, and y'all seen the trip? I was ready to go. I started my nursing career out as an LVN. People always ask, why you do the LVN first? Why didn't you go straight RN? This girl here finished school without any debt. Okay? So I graduated with my associate's degree in 2012. Then I was like, okay, I went and worked at a school. I said, I might want to be a teacher. I'm like, no, like nursing is my heart. That's what I want to do. Yeah, I enjoyed working with kids. I want to work with kids. But needless to say, I got accepted into nursing school, but I just got a bad vibe from the school I was accepted into. I didn't want to go there. I said, okay, let me do this one. Okay, probably I got accepted 3 times before I actually started. I said, let me go and do the LVN route, do 1 year, and then I'm done. I can come back up here in the city because they didn't put a limit on my science courses. But I still had a bad vibe. Like, in this day and age, I can say it, racism is really high where I went to school at. It's really high. Anyway, so I ended up doing my LVN. Like, oh, the instructor was brutal. Anyways, I get through my LVN. I immediately applied to get my RN because I was going to wait, but I ended up not waiting. I just said, you know what, let me just go ahead and get it over with. So I bridged right into my RN. But of course I got scholarships and, you know, some FAFSA or whatever, but for the most part it was scholarships. So I didn't have to get debt to go to school. If I had went originally in 2012, I was supposed to go to a university, I would have probably had a lot of debt. But the only thing that stopped me from going just straight for my BSN was my kids. You know, I had small kids at the time, and it would have required me to go a distance away for the school that I was accepted into. And like, it just wasn't the right timing. So I had to postpone for a few years until they were older enough to, if I'm in school, they can still contain themselves on their own. So that's how I ended up going the long way around. So on this day, I had my LVN in 2016. Then I went right back in 2017. I got my RN, and then I just graduated in 2019 with my BSN. So I'm excited for that. Now I'm gonna work on my master's degree and try to become an MP. That's my goal. Why do you go to LVN? Just go straight for your RN. You can't tell people how to do their journey. You don't know what their backstory is. Maybe they want to work for a year and be able to make income while they're in school for their RN. Or maybe they want to be like me and not have to get $30,000, $20,000, $40,000 in debt. That's real. And did y'all know that if you have student loan debt, that they can actually deny you from renewing your license? Crazy, huh? I guess. But thankful to the Lord, that's not my case. I don't have to worry about student loan debt. I was just able to it took a while, but that worked for me. That worked for my pocketbook. That worked for my kiddos. And I mean, yeah, it is what it is. This hospital that I chose in Dallas, yeah, big mistake, okay? Big mistake. I got some great experience. I learned, that wasn't a problem. I had a bad vibe from the beginning. You know how you say, trust your intuition? Well, I didn't. I wanted to go to this one hospital, but I ended up choosing this one because it was closer. Again, I went through a very traumatic event, and I tried to tell the hospital, like, no, like right now, I can't work. I can't come here. I can't work right now. Like, I've experienced a traumatic event, and it just doesn't work for me. They was like, well, if you don't start, then we're going to pretty much block you from starting. You're going to have a negative consequence and you're foul, and it's going to prevent you from working in the future. So I felt almost like, I'll try it. I went to work and I thrived. They trained me so I didn't have to go through a program. And in barely 5 weeks, I think I was on my own. I think it was barely 5 weeks. Yeah. I got on my own like the first week of March, I think. But that was crazy. Like, I was dealing with the racist. I did have a racist. Well, I believe she was racist. Of course, when you ask the racist, are they racist, they're going to always say, no, I'm not racist. I got a black friend. But when they're in the break room, that's all they talk about. Black Africans. None of them are never up to par. It's 3 of them. They're never up to par. They're never good enough. They don't know this. They don't know that. Like, it was always a complaint. It was always a problem. But the experience at that place was like very less than ideal for me. Like, I think because I started out going in, it's like, oh, well, maybe working would help occupy your mind. No, I was distracted. But you know what? I never killed a patient. I never hurt a patient. I still provided the best nursing care. Okay? Even with my distractions, when I left out that patient room, and I'm in the hallway, hey, my mind can wander. But when I'm in that patient room, I gave my patients 1,000%. But I stayed there for well, I think almost 6 months. But the problem that I had was when I left. So I ended up getting injured. And yeah, they wanted me to rush back before I could heal. And I'm like, no. Because when I'm injured and I'm hurt, who's gonna pay my bills? The doctor warned me, if you re-injure this before it's healed, you can be out for over a year. I'm not gonna risk that if I can just wait. I think he told me 8 to 12 weeks or whatever. And I think they only gave me like 3. No pay, okay? No pay, I might add. Like, they screwed me with some workman's comp that I didn't even know I had, but I'm probably gonna edit that out. But I mean, they screwed me, but it was no pay at all. So I just took it. I wasn't tripping. I wasn't trying to get money from anybody. I just wanted to heal. So they probably gave me like 2.5, like, okay, yeah, probably 2.5 weeks or whatever. So then I graduate or whatever, and like, I still don't feel well. And at this point, I am stressed. I'm stressed. Like, I was at a breaking point. This isn't a nursing breaking point. This is a life breaking point. Like, real talk, I had a life breaking point. I injured myself, which, by the way I injured myself, we had 4 other staff members to get injured with the same patient. And the hospital never spoke up. They never say, hey, during our morning huddles, never said, be careful. Hey, how about 4 people go in here for this patient? Because she's like 500-600 pounds. They never did anything to warn anyone. I didn't know how many people was injured until I was over in physical therapy. And I ran into another coworker who was injured too. And she said it was 4 other people. But I was at a life-breaking moment. I got my RN in May, and here I am in January, like, distraught. When I got my LVN in December, I graduated school. I went on vacation. I came back in January and I had a 3-car accident that affected me. So I feel like every time I'm trying to get started in nursing, something happens. So, yeah, I'm at my breaking point. My mental is gone. Now my physical is gone. So, the only thing left is emotionally, and emotionally, I'm drained. I'm drained from what I'm already dealing with. I'm drained from where I am. And then I'm drained now physically, and I have to deal with y'all combating me for being injured on your job? No. I thought it was pretty simple. I didn't ask you for no money. I didn't care about your workman's comp. I didn't try to sue you. I didn't try to do anything. Like, I just want to heal. So I end up resigning the position because my manager's like, hey, you should resign. It's going to be better if you do so. You can go to any of our other campuses. I knew at that point I wanted nothing to do with them because the way they treated me was like, it's not a company I want to work for. Flat out. I stand with integrity. I stand with morals. I stand with respect for myself. So I'm not going to just allow myself to let you disrespect me and then say, yeah, I just transferred to a different campus. No. I don't just go to any job just to go, just to say, yeah, I have a job. Like, just like you interview me, I interview you. So whenever I come to you with the same interview skills that you have for me. I listen to you. I see what you have going on. I hear you. When you're talking to me, I'm evaluating you. And I don't pick everybody. Just like you don't pick everybody, I don't pick everybody. I don't allow money to be my motivator, although money is good. But I don't allow that to be my motivator. I'd rather be happy than to do that. And I only chose this hospital because it was one that I had wanted to be at for quite some time. So after that, I'm like, one, I need time to heal. Okay, I'm not going to be forced back into a hospital. It put a very bad taste in my mouth for the hospital because I was able to see how dirty, grimy they could be to employees. Which, of course, in school, you don't see all that. You hear them gripe and complain, but you don't see all that. As far as after I left there, I actually had a great experience with research. I liked it. Dangerous for the subjects, but I liked it. Overall, I liked it. Some people feel like if you're not in a hospital, if you're not in some acute care setting, you're not a nurse. And it's like, nope. I renew my license just like you. Like, I don't have a problem with learning any skill set. If it's new for me, it's another experience that I can check off and add to my resume. So I have no problem with adding it on. It was a short-term contract as well. When that contract was over, I always do home health. Right now, I'm not because of COVID. I'm not going into the homes of people because I see how some of these people are regularly. I'm not going to the home with COVID. So I'm not going to take any home health assignment right now. Even though I'm still signed up with the company, I just can't. Like, I can't risk bringing something home to my family and I'm sitting in your house all day. And I'm not saying everybody's like this, but I've seen some homes that are not so clean, and I just cannot risk that for me and my family. So I won't do it. I'm not gonna do it. So after that, that's how I end up getting into travel. I wanted to make sure I have enough experience under me to be able to go into traveling. And that's what I did. I got my experience and now I travel. It just so happened that the last hospital that I was, not this travel contract, but the one I was at when I got injured, like, it just, I don't know, I almost washed my hands with it. I really did. You're in control when you're travel nursing. The ball is in your hand. You say where you go. If you want a 4-week, a 8-week, a 13-week contract, 6-month contract, they're out there. You get with the right, there's plenty of companies. You get with the right company and you choose what you want. If they don't have it, it's a no-go. You choose day or nights. Like, In my last hospital, I wanted to go nights. They were like, nope, days is what we got. I'm like, nope. If I sign up for PCU, you can't switch me over to med-surg. I have to agree to med-surg. Now, they can float you. Yeah, you can be floated. But you can't make my full contract in med-surg if I sign up for PCU, because that's what I signed up for. So as for travel nursing, you control it. It's in your court. And that's why I like to travel or want to be a travel nurse, because I can control how long I'm gone. I don't have to ask your permission to go on vacation. I can work my 13 weeks. If I want to take off 2 weeks to go on vacation, I don't need permission. And I come back from vacation and I go into another contract. It's just that simple. I don't have to, but in times like this of COVID, when contracts are being canceled, that's the downside. But when it's up, it's up. And they're going to always be up. Honestly speaking, it's the hospital. They need help. And it's all over. So, yeah. If you're in a compact state, that's a big plus for it. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and hit the notification bell so you're alerted next time I drop another video. This is AllThingz Dani, and thanks for tuning in.